Good morning, students. Now, after Diwali vacation, very first chapter of the second semester, we are going to learn. So, chapter number 10, Reaching the Age of Adolescence, is one of the most important chapter for our future life, because whatever we are going to learn in this chapter, it comes and you will experience in a very short time duration, in the going on period, right? See, what is adolescence and age of adolescence? Growth is a natural phenomenon in all living things. From the day a baby is born, it begins to grow. The various stages of growth in humans are infancy, means birth to 2 years, childhood 2 years to 10 years, adolescence, about which already we are going to learn, 10 years to 18 years. Means the whatever age nowadays you have, right? It's a what you are in adolescence, right? And adulthood, 18 years to and above, is known as what? Adulthood. During adolescence, the body undergoes changes leading to reproductive maturity. Around this time, they are also called teenagers. During this period, there is visible physical differentiations in boys and girls. Puberty is a time when a child's body starts turning into an adult's body and attains sexual maturity. When an adolescent reach reproductive maturity, puberty ends. So I hope so all of you understood about the adolescence. What's the age level? 10 years to 18 years, right? And is also known as what? Teenagers. And at same age, all may be attain a what? Puberty, right? Puberty means what? Attain sexual maturity, right? Now, what are the changes causes in during puberty? During puberty, the person grows very rapidly and physical and psychological changes take place. All these are under the control of hormones, about which already we will learn in this lesson. Some changes which occur during puberty are, about it already we will discuss. Change in puberty, very first we will discuss about changes in boys. Appearance of facial hair, beard and mustache is developed, right? Appearance of body hair on the chest, back, arms and legs. Dipping of voice and increase in the size of Adam's apple in the throat. Bordering Burdening of shoulders. Sperms are produced by testes. This may be evident as night emission along with seminal fluid. Body becomes muscular. As it is, see what are the changes causes in girls. Broadening of hips, body becomes soft and rounded. Appearance of breast, menstruational cycle begins. Changes common in both and boys are as follow: increase in height and weight, increased activity of sebum glands, oil and sweat glands, and therefore the occurrence of pimples and shin takes place. Appearance of hair in the armpit and pubic region. Development in thinking, logical reasoning, and intelligence. Emotional changes like irritability, insecurity, anger, defiance, rebellious tendencies may occur in some boys and girls. Now, what are secondary sexual characters? Before that, just we'll discuss about the changes in detail. See, increase in height. The change in height of a person is the noticeable change during puberty. There is a sudden increase in height due to the elongation of the long bones of the legs and arms. It is two factors that determine the height of boys and girls are the genes they inherit from their parents and the kind of food they eat during this period. It is important to eat nutritional food. Now, second change, already we are observing change in body shape. The most easily noticeable change that occurs during puberty is the change in the body shape of a boy and a girl. They start looking different during puberty. The growth of muscles in boys is more prominent than in girls. The shoulders of boys becomes broad and the chest becomes wide. On the other hand, the region below the waist becomes wider in girls. Now, change in voice. The voice of a person also changes with age. The considerable changes in voice occur during puberty. Have you ever noticed that the voice of boys starts to crack and becomes deeper while the voice of girls becomes sweet? Before puberty, the larynx of boys and girls is nearly equally small. The voice box grows in both sexes. This growth is far more prominent in boys, causing the male voice to crack and deepen. The voice box can be seen protruding in the boys in the throat region. It is called Adam's apple. The voice box is not visible in girls as it is of smaller in size. The voice in girls becomes high pitch as it is increase in the activity of sweat and oil glands. We might have observed pimples on the face of some of your friends who are between 11 to 18 years. Pimples appears again and again during this age. The sweat and oil glands becomes very active during puberty, especially on the face. This leads to the appearance of pimples on the face. It continues to happen during this age as it is the development of sex organs. If we talk about it, the sex organs develop fully and reach maturity during the puberty. In boys, the testes and penis becomes fully developed. In girls, the ovaries becomes enlarged and start releasing eggs every month. This leads to the onset of menstruation cycle, reaching mental, intellectual, and emotional maturity. On reaching the age of adolescence, there are considerable changes in the way of thinking. Adolescence becomes more self-conscious and independent. They start thinking of themselves. This is the best time for most of the people for learning because their brain's capacity is at the greatest level. It is also the time when many persons start feeling insecure and take time to adjust to the changes in their body and mind. These changes are a part of growth, so one should never feel insecure during this period. It is also very common in adolescents to develop a deep attraction towards the opposite sex. Psychological changes. An adolescent also undergo some kind of psychological changes due to different feelings. Frequent changes in the mood is very common in adolescence. At one moment they may be sulking and the next moment they may be upbeat. Now then, after secondary sexual characters. At puberty, some changes occur in both males and females that distinguish them from each other. The features that develop in them are called secondary sexual characters. In boys, some secondary sexual characters are facial hair growth of hair on the chest, under the arms, and pubic area. Some secondary sexual characteristics in girls are development of breast, the growth of hair under the arms and pubic area. The external characters that develop during the puberty, which help to distinguish a male from a female, are called secondary sexual characters. Now, secondary sexual characters in boys. facial hair develop already, about it we have discussed, right? As well as in girls, the region below the abdomen becomes wider and breasts develop in girls. The development of secondary sexual characteristics and other changes that occurring during the adolescence are controlled by hormones. These are chemical substances secreted by the endocrine glands. Now, how the changes in the human body occur at the puberty time, at the time of puberty? What are hormones? There are endocrine glands present in humans which secretes chemical substances in the body is called the hormones. These chemical substances are responsible for changes in the human body at the time of puberty. The hormones act as messengers and are responsible for transporting signals from one cell to another. Hence, they evoke responses from various organs of the body and tissues. Hormones have certain properties or characteristics, such as they are secreted by the endocrine glands, they circulate in the body fluids, they are responsible for regulating the behavior of the target cells, they cause long term effects in the body like change in behavior, change in growth, development of organs, puberty, menopause, etc. Hormones are secreted in limited quantities from time to time whenever they are required by the body. Now, different glands present in the body are responsible for secretion of different hormones. See, the endocrine system is shown over here of the boys as well as of the girls. See the pituitary gland, then after thyroid gland, adrenal gland, pancreas, ovary, and testes are the organs included in glands included in endocrine glands. The location of different endocrine glands, the hormones secreted by them, and their functions are the different. See the very first pituitary, known as what, master gland. Location, it's located at the base of the brain. Several hormones including growth hormone, thyroid stimulating hormone are secreted from it. Thyroid at the base of the throat in the neck. See, it is shown over here in the picture, in the given figure, right? Adrenal near the kidneys, pancreas near the liver, which is already secretes the insulin, regulates the level of sugar. Lack of insulin causes diabetes. This is one of the most important, right? So pancreas, from it we can say the pancreas is controlling the sugar, yeah, diabetes in our body. Then after testes and ovaries are two in pairs in males as well as in female. Testes present in the male and ovaries is present in the female body, which secretes, testes secretes the testosterone and ovaries secretes the estrogen and progesterone, which is the development of secondary sexual characters in males as well as in females. Then other, what are pituitary glands? There are pituitary glands present in the body which control the production of the hormones by endocrine glands in both males as well as females. And what are the roles of hormones in initiating the reproductive function? The part of the body for which a particular hormone is meant is called the target site. The endocrine glands secrete the hormones in the blood and it reaches the target site. Then the target site responds accordingly. The development of secondary sexual characteristics is controlled by the sex hormones named testosterone and estrogen. Testosterone is the male sex hormone secreted by the testes, while estrogen is the female sex hormone secreted by the ovaries. The production of both these hormones is controlled by the pituitary gland, which is also called master endocrine gland. It is located at the base of the brain. Now, what are the importance of hormones in life cycle of human being? We have learned about metamorphosis in insects and in frogs. In insects, metamorphosis is controlled by insect hormones. In frogs, it is controlled by thyroxine, that is produced by the thyroxine glands. For thyroxine to be produced, the presence of iodine in water is essential. Tadpoles do not become adult if they grow in water that does not contain sufficient iodine. Now, reproductive phase of life in humans. In adolescence, the ability of production of gametes in humans lasts until certain time period only. This time period varies between males and females. Now, reproductive phase in females. It begins from the age of 10 to 12 years and lasts until the age of 45 to 50 years. When females hit puberty, the eggs or ova start getting mature. One of the ovaries then releases the mature ovum around 28 to 30 days. The wall of the uterus at this time when the egg is released becomes thick to hold the egg in case if fertilization occurs and the egg develops. When the fertilization does not take place, the lining of the uterus sets along with the egg and the blood vessels. This results in menstruation or blooding in females. An ovulation becomes capable of reproduction only when the testes and ovaries start producing gametes. In females, one of the two ovaries produce one egg or ovum, which is released once in every 28 to 30 days. This process is known as ovulation. During the period of 28 to 30 days, the wall of the uterus becomes thick to receive the egg. If it is fertilized and begins to develop, when the egg gets fertilized by the sperm, it results in pregnancy. If the egg is not fertilized by the sperm, then the lining of the uterus wall with blood vessels break down and passes out of the vagina with the fertilized egg, resulting in blooding. This is called menstruation. Menstruation occurs for 4 to 5 days after every 28 to 30 days. The beginning of menstruation at puberty is called menarche. It is the first menstrual flow. In the beginning, menstrual cycle may be irregular, but after some time it becomes regular. Menstruation stops at the age of 45 to 50 years. The permanent stoppage of menstruation is called menopause. The whole menstruational cycle occurs because of female hormones. Now then, after determining the sex of the baby, we know that there are 23 pairs of chromosomes present inside the nucleus of every human cell. These chromosomes have a thread-like structure and they always occur in pairs. The chromosomes help in determining the sex of the child. Out of the 23 pairs of chromosomes, two of them are sex chromosomes called X and Y. Females have two X chromosomes and males have one X and one Y chromosome. The gametes contain only one set of chromosomes, that is either an X or a Y. The egg of the female contains an X chromosomes always. However, the sperm can contain only one of the X and Y chromosomes. So, if the sperm that contains a Y chromosome fertilizes with the egg which contains the X chromosome, the zygote develops into a male. On the other hand, if the sperm contains an X chromosome and fertilizes with the egg which contains X chromosome, the zygote develops into a female. So if suppose both are X similar, so we get what? Female. And X and Y, so we get male. See, it is shown already over here in the chart. Hence the sex of the child depends upon the chromosomes of the father and not the mother. So from this chart we come to know well about it. Now, role of hormones in completing the life history of insects and frogs. Already that we had discussed before it, right, about the metamorphosis and how the hormones are responsible in insects as well as in frogs, right? Now, reproductive health, one of the most important part at the end of the chapter. I think so it is given over here. See, the physical and mental well-being of an individual is regarded as an individual's health. To keep the body healthy, every human being at any age needs to have a balanced diet. The person must also observe personal hygiene and undertake adequate physical exercise. During adolescence, however, this becomes even more essential as the body is growing. No crash dieting. Now, personal hygiene. Personal hygiene is very important, especially during teenage. Increased activity of sweat glands sometimes makes the body smelly. It also leads to pimples. All parts of the body should be washed and cleaned every day. If cleanliness is not maintained, there are chances of catching bacterial and fungal infections. Balanced diet. Yeah, we can say very first about the physical exercise. Doing physical exercise is one of the best way to keep our body fit. Teenagers must take walks and exercise regularly. They should play outdoor games instead of spending all the time with books on the internet and other indoor activities. Although these are also an important part of our life, but being fit is also very important for an adolescence. Balanced diet. Adolescence also equates to a sudden spurt in growth of the body. A growing body requires all the nutrients. A balanced diet is a meal that includes proteins, carbohydrates, fats, and vitamins in proper proportions. Junk food affects the growth of an individual. Like chips, packed and tin snacks may be very tasty, but they do not have adequate nutritional value. Thus, they are no replacement to regular meals. Now, say no to drugs. Drugs are addictive and harm the body in long term. Sometimes harm done by drugs becomes irreversible. Any teenager should say no to drugs. Drugs are chemical substances that produce changes in the physical, mental, behavioral, and emotional setup of an individual. Drugs are addictive and harmful of the body for the body. Drugs ruin both health as well as our happiness. The use of drugs for purposes other than medicinal use is called drug abuse. Alcohol, nicotine, cocaine, and marijuana are examples of drugs. Then after HIV/AIDS, so much is spoken about AIDS nowadays. Its full form is acquired immunodeficiency syndrome. It is caused by the HIV virus. This virus destroys the defense mechanism of the body. It can pass from an infected person to a normal person by sharing syringe used for injecting drugs, blood transfusion, sexual contact with a person infected with HIV. It can also pass to an infant from the milk of an infected mother. AIDS does not spread by sharing food and shaking hands with infected person. So, in this chapter, we have learned about the what are the changes, causes at the age of adolescence. I hope so all of you understood well about the topic, and maybe you will be follow the steps so which is helpful to you. Okay, bye, thank you.